listening to a band of gamers podcasting since 2012. Three older best mates share a few laughs and keep you current with discussions about the latest news, consoles, and games. Join the conversation and the community. abandofgamers.com. ABOG, welcome back.
Podcast.
What's going on?
I'm glad we finally, after all these years, got back together, record another show, even though it's only been a couple weeks. But it always feels like, you know, a great hiatus, a reunion tour. It always feels like a reunion, doesn't it, boys?
Sure does, man. Sure does. You know, the fans have been haranguing us for what seems like years. And, you know, that podcast money talks. So what can I say? We're back together. Yeah, let's do it.
Wow. Couldn't agree more. Feels like forever. We've got a really good episode. You know what else feels like forever? All the news that's been pouring out. We've got like a year's worth of news here, it feels like. Lots going on. I'm excited to sit down.
No games, but tons of news.
Tons of news. Can't wait to talk about it all with these two guys. In this episode, Sony is officially killing off, it's upcoming, is going to officially, it was announced officially.
They haven't killed it off yet.
Last episode, just a rumor, but the PlayStation 3 and the Vita stores going to be coming down, but we've got some time, right?
Got a little bit of time.
We may ask for your help there. Then we've got MLB The Show 21 is a day one release on Game Pass.
What?
I was hoping you would do that. With this news, it might be possible to play all the latest sports games on Game Pass because there's some other big sports games coming to Game Pass. One already there. We got another game delayed indefinitely. I think one Carl's excited about or anticipating highly. A Last of Us remake is announced for PlayStation 5. But then all of a sudden, Bloomberg reports that morale is low. Is low at Sony. Lots of stuff going on there with the PlayStation team. I kind of wanted to talk about that as well. We've got Cheers, What's in Our Pint Glasses. In games, Carl is a new card game for fans of Slay the Spire and Hearthstone, maybe something else, time permitting. And of course, backed by popular demand. Shane said somebody was requesting it in Twitch last night.
We got a request. People are asking. They are jonesing for the EP. They need some easy platinums. And we're coming through today on this episode 238. You're going to get 2 platinums, and it's only going to take you 2 minutes. And it probably only costs you $2, I think. I don't know. It's going to be cheap. So.
Two and two. Well, thank you for joining us. You can listen to our past episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Pandora, YouTube, or anywhere else fine podcasts are served. Be sure to like and subscribe, follow. Make sure you get them shows as soon as they're released. I'm Joel, your MC, recording in Brookfield, Wisconsin, USA. Joining me on this journey, my 2 best mates, first of all, from Birmingham, England, the Knucklehead Ninja. It's Carl. Hey, Carl.
Yes, the Knucklehead Ninja indeed. I was expecting to be a bit puzzled with that, mate, to be fair. And last episode we talked about these little freebies that PlayStation were giving away, and one of those was a free trial, like a 14-day free trial to Funimation. And it turns out it's not 14 days, it's actually 3 months and 14 days.
What?
So, yeah. Pretty good for free, right? So I've started to rewatch all of the episodes of Naruto. My boy's been watching them, and he's been talking to me about it. So I'm like, okay, I can jump back in and watch all those again. So yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying those at the minute.
And from Vancouver, Canada, the Knucklehead Ninja. It's Shane. Well done there, Shane.
Canada.
He's quick.
The UK versus Canada. Who will survive? I don't know. Yeah. Anywho, we're recording today and my neighbor's mowing the lawn. So if you're listening to the show and you start smelling that aroma, that fresh cut grass, you know, that smell we all love, you're welcome.
It's a new iPhone feature. Get that fresh grass smell when you listen to your favorite podcast, ABOG.
Not sure that's what mine would smell like, but you know.
Well, Sony is killing the web store version and the console stores, of course, for PlayStation 3, Vita, and PSP. A little bit of a follow-up to our last episode. You can still download content that you've purchased from the download list, though, right? If you have okay, 2 things. Hopefully you haven't bought a lot of stuff, because then that download list is fairly manageable. But if you bought a lot of stuff, like I'm sure the three of us have, I know I have, every time I have to dig deep back a couple years, a couple consoles ago into that download list and find something to re-download, need like an extra day. What a nightmare that is.
Sucks.
Sorting through that.
So, I mentioned on the last show that I've been able to purchase stuff on the website and then transfer it to my Vita or something. Well, since I had done that, which is probably, I think it was last summer, Sony has killed the web version of the store, and that is gone. So if you go to the PlayStation Store on the on your computer, your PC, or whatever you call it, Rita, that is all gone, and it's just PS4 and PS5 stuff. So they've now officially announced that going in on the store on the actual Vita and the PS3, that is being shut down and locked off.
So the web store done now.
That is done, yeah.
PlayStation 3 and Vita in a couple months, right? We got some time left.
July 2nd for the PlayStation 3 / PSP. I think the PSP store on the actual PSP, I think that closed down a while ago. I think they stopped doing that years ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I remember there was something, like the functionality on the actual PSP to go in there, that was done, and you had to do it through the PS3 or the old web store. But yeah, July 2nd, that comes to an end after like 20 something, 10 years. Feels like 20 years. 13 years or so.
I think it's more than 10.
Crazy. Yeah.
2008-ish? 2008?
2007, 2008. Yeah, long time, boys.
2006, maybe? Wasn't?
No, because the PS3 came out in 2007, and I think the store came up, it was a few months afterwards. And that was like fall of 2007.
That's right. You're right.
Carl
the store wasn't there.
Back then. He was just a little guy.
I was about 10, I think. Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
I was 11. I'm still younger than you.
Yeah, you are. Always will be, mate. Always will be. Yeah, well, we're not surprised, are we? It cropped up in the news. Tom was throwing these rooms around. We know only too well. And it was just comedy timing. Shane's like, you could still use this. No more website for you, mate.
Right?
Would have been a clever workaround. You will no longer be able to make in-game purchases through games. So no DLC or anything. Obviously, you can't buy after those stores are gone. You will no longer be able to redeem PSN Wallet fund vouchers for those systems, PS3, PS Vita, or PSP devices once those are down. So get on that now, right? Put them.
Yes.
No one's sitting on that. No one's sitting on those. But if you're one of them people who has gift cards just laying around for years,
right? Stuck to the fridge
that you find like in a drawer somewhere. We just did that the other day. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Here's a $100 Visa gift card that's been sitting here for like 3 years. Oops. Luckily, it still works.
Congrats.
Time to get some beers.
Yeah, ironically, I'd used that towards some beers today.
Let's see.
Good thoughts there. But we wanted to throw it out there and ask if you can get back to us. Recommend some gems from the PlayStation 3 and the Vita for us all to download before the stores close. Something we don't know about. Everybody knows the big ones. But how about a hidden gem?
Yeah, something digital only, or if, very, very limited physical copies, but the only way, honestly, people are going to be able to acquire it is through this store. Hopefully before July 2nd, when the PS3 store shuts down. I have heard they've already been delisting some titles. I've been going in and trying to I've re-downloaded a bunch of stuff already and going through, and I've come across a bunch of great games. PS3 games, some PSP games that play on the Vita that are really great. A lot of PS1. The PS1 classics on that store. There are so many great games on there. There's going to be too many. I mean, there's going to be so many to list, but it's phenomenal. The Japanese imports on there. A lot of games, if you were going to try to get them physically, even the old PS1 classics, you trying to get those physically, you may be paying, a couple $100 on there. unless you're, a diehard fan, a collector, you need that part of your collection. You're probably not going to do that just to play the game. And this, a lot of them $6, some of them $10. You'll be able to, grab these games and enjoy them for some time. So let us know what are some of your favorites, some gems, some underrated titles. I'm going to do the same. No, we're going to do the same.
Yeah, we are
going to do the same. We're all going to do it, and we're going to have a list, and just it's just great recommendations. Some games that that we've loved and cherished a lot through the PS3 life cycle, and some PSP ones, and some Vitas as well, right? A lot of great games.
Yeah, and you know how to get a hold of us. We're everywhere. Well, we're not on TikTok, but you can find us on Twitter, Facebook.
We might be soon.
Yeah, good. Can't wait to see your dance moves, Shane.
No one needs to see that.
You can leave a comment on the show notes as well on our website at banditgamers.com. Just figure out a way to get a hold of us. Give us a gem or two, and we'll share that in an upcoming episode. Appreciate your help. Get a nice solid list of which games we should go grab before it's too late. MLB The Show 21, formerly on PlayStation exclusively, announced about a year ago or so. It was coming to other platforms. Maybe the Switch in the future, but so far just the Xbox. Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X it's coming to, but just announced a little bit of a news bit. It's day one on Game Pass. Day one. I almost pre-ordered this game. I do not have a PlayStation 5, so I was going to get the Series X version of the game, see what the new consoles are doing for this great simulation game. I haven't bought it in a few years.
Nice.
Figured now's the time.
Attaboy.
Hovered over that pre-order button, didn't pull the trigger. I'm sure glad I didn't, because now I'm a Game Pass subscriber. I'm getting this on Game Pass on day one.
There you go.
Day one of release.
Fired up.
Hell yeah, I'm fired up. This is
I
big.
can tell Joel's getting fired up here.
This is big news. This is big news. Comes out April 20th.
There you go.
Big news. Day one on Game Pass. Come on, Shane.
Craziness.
You're excited about this, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I already pre-ordered it, playing on the PlayStation 5. And it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it, man. I woke up the other morning for some reason, like before work, I fired up PS5 for some reason. I honestly have no idea. And then all of a sudden it just started to preload. So I got that preloaded and ready to go this week.
There you go.
Yeah, I fired up for this, man. It's good. It's a great game of ball. So
yeah, man. Looking forward to it. And it's going to be cross-platform as well, isn't it? So, everyone, Xbox and PlayStation can play together. That's pretty cool, man. That's something we can all enjoy. But it's a bit of a coup. It's a great feather in the cap for Microsoft to get this in there. Particularly, I mean, if you don't care about baseball, you don't care. Obviously, you don't care. But there's a lot of, especially in the States, it's a big thing. We've got a niche little group of people in the UK who love MLB The Show. So the fact that it's now on a new console is massive, and free on Game Pass day one is just excellent news.
Yeah, and I think it's both versions too. It's the Series X version and the Xbox One version. Both will be in Game Pass. Comes out the 20th of April. I was very curious about how this all sort of worked out. Just kind of piqued my curiosity. Did Microsoft call Sony? And since Sony publishes the game, give them money or work out some sort of deal to get it on Game Pass? Did they work this out with MLB? I mean, quite obviously, MLB is the one that said it needs to be on Xbox, or PlayStation wouldn't have put it there. I'm sure it has to do with that exclusive license they have for MLB simulation style baseball games. MLB wanted it on other consoles. Sony wanted to keep publishing the game. So they struck a deal there. I think MLB twisted their arm a little bit and said, hey, if you got to put it on other consoles, or we're going to sell this to somebody else, this exclusive license. I'm assuming that's probably how it went down. MLB definitely pushed them to doing this. No question. But the Game Pass part of it, who did Microsoft call to make that happen? MLB, and then MLB called Sony and said, we're doing this? Who's getting the money? I think Sony's a publisher, so Sony's got to be getting money out of it, just like any other publisher who puts a game on Game Pass. I just can't imagine Phil Spencer calling Sony and saying, hey, can I put this game on Game Pass? What do you guys think? Do you think that phone call happened? Would Sony even be open to that?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
I think they just came to the right number.
Yeah.
They came to the right number on it. I don't think at all MLB would have threatened to pull the license away. Not a chance. But I think they honestly just came the right number. They backed the Brinks truck up, and there's a lot of money in it for Sony and San Diego Studios, which is a first party studio, and they just hit. Microsoft's throwing a lot of money around.
They sure are.
Or I should say, Xbox is throwing a lot of money around.
Yeah, they both are.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, from Sony's point of view, it's free money, right? So if the game's already multi-platform, so you're not going to get any much of a cut. If it's bought on Xbox, I don't know how much of a cut they would get as publisher.
Well, they still get a cut because they're a publisher.
Yeah, but is it going to, this is a game that's been out on PlayStation for ages. We don't know how big the market is for someone who's going to buy that game on Xbox. So, if Microsoft come to them and say, here's a check, then you're going to take the check because they're still going to get the cut for the titles that are sold. And all Microsoft would have done is say, we think it would shift X amount of titles. We'll give you this to be able to put it on Game Pass, and they'll say, "Yep, okay, send." Because they're not going to, Sony aren't going to lose any sales from it. I wouldn't think, unless someone's got both consoles and for some reason they want to buy it on the Xbox or get it for free and then not buy it on the PS5. But either way, they've still got a PS5, so I don't think it makes that much difference. But it's just great news for people who want to play with their mates.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're both right. I think it has to do with dollars. Whatever the dollar proposition is versus selling the discs or the digital copy of the game, the license, or the amount of money they're going to make through whatever revenue sharing, however that works on Game Pass. No clue how that works. Would love to know, but I'm sure that's way behind the scenes for folks like us, and that's something we'll probably never know. And there's probably individual deals and different publishers and studios get different arrangements and so on and so forth.
Couple old-fashioned backyard yard sales.
There you go. I just thought it's pretty big news, and I do believe the market on Xbox for a simulation-style baseball game is probably pretty high.
Oh yeah,
as high as it's ever been because we haven't had one on Xbox in a long time. Like right. What 2K? The EA, the EA MVP maybe goes back a ways.
RBI,
a simulation style.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean
that's kind of arcadey, right?
Yeah, they all are though, right? That's what I'm thinking. Like you mentioned, like possibly pulling the license away, and it's just like, no, you can't leave, and then all of a sudden, RBI baseball is like the one licensed baseball game, I guess.
No, they just give
from what I've heard.
They just give the exclusivity to somebody else, the simulation license.
Yeah, but nobody's going to build a better baseball game than San Diego, man. And you know what? And I think a lot of Xbox fans are going to see that, and they're going to see why this is such a big deal and why it's so great that it not only is coming to Xbox, which is honestly overdue, and for it to be on Game Pass, to get it in everybody's hands for however long it's on there, fantastic. Everybody's going to get their feet wet with it, and possibly have a new favorite sports game.
I had something I was going to say there, and I completely lost my train of thought. I love when that happens.
And they're going to make a lot of that stub money.
When
you get in there and you're buying those packs and you need some stubs, who are you calling to get some stubs?
That's right. Now the stub's going to cost more on Xbox. So I remembered what I was going to say here. I'm worried a little bit. I don't think Sony would do this. I also don't think that Sony was happy that they had to put this game on Xbox. I understand they make money, right? But they're a business that they're succeeding based on their exclusives. The reason PlayStation's doing so well, and with the 4 and probably here the 5, is their exclusive games: the God of War, Horizon, Uncharted, Ghost of Tsushima, all these great games you can only play on PlayStation. That's their business model. That's how they succeed. That's how they won over Xbox as far as selling more consoles last generation. So they're not happy they're putting this on Xbox.
Yeah.
Do they make the Xbox version more buggy? Is it possible that the superior version of this game is obviously the superior version is going to be PlayStation 5? Is there any sort of like malfeasance behind the scenes there where they're like let's patch the Xbox version last. Let's make sure this one's running the smoothest on PlayStation 5, and the Xbox will get like leftovers.
I absolutely hope not.
They could do that though.
That would be such bad business. You don't do that. I don't care. I don't care what company you are. I don't care. Yes, I play a lot of PlayStation. That's, where I play video games. But that's bad business, man. You do that. That is absolute bad business. You don't do that. And I don't expect that to happen one bit. No, not a chance.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's great for the player, like it's great for the guy who's got the choice of where he wants to play it. And if you're an Xbox player, you've got to play a baseball game. That's great news there. But in terms of Sony makes plenty of money out of, like you say, Joel, the first party exclusives, don't they? So that's where the bread and butter is for them. And I can't think of how many copies MLB The Show sells. I wouldn't think it's anywhere near what some of, like you said there, God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us, Uncharted. I don't think it's anywhere near what they would make. And we've heard a lot of talk about Game Pass and about the Game Pass model and about Sony needing to do something similar and all the rest of it. But it comes down to the decision that you want to make up front of what and how you want that revenue to come through. I'd Sony make a ton of money. It's just if you look at Uncharted, 16 million copies sold. Say it's $50 a game.
Minus expenses and distribution.
Sure, but just times that number by 50, that's 800 million for Uncharted, like in terms of
revenue.
The top end figure. You've got to take a load out of that. So even if you take 80% out of it, you're still left with, 120, 150 million net. And each game that they do, and obviously they're based on that, aren't they? That's what the model is. So I think something like this is probably just like they want to keep the license. I think they probably do, but at the same time, I don't think it's that big of a deal for them.
Yeah, I don't think
crushing numbers here.
I don't think PlayStation's moving consoles based on the MLB franchise, right?
No. I mean, they're moving PS5s on the back of no games. So, I mean, it's true,
all the
though,
scalpers that are buying them all. It's all the scalpers. Nobody's got them.
Well, I mean, both these companies are moving games with consoles with no games to put on them at the minute, right? And they're both flying off the shelves. So, one's got the subscription, one's got the big, AAA titles and all the rest of it. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the long term. But I think at the minute, I just think they're both doing their thing, and it's all good. It's interesting that this is going multi-platform, and that's a good thing for the player base and for the longevity of the game,
and for baseball and for the sport.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. MLB's trying to push their product, make people more excited for baseball. We're getting through a pandemic. Their TV rights are down. Their attendance is down. Everything's different now. They got to build up excitement for the product.
Not to touch on it, but there's also a lot of politicizing that's been going on in sports as well. And I think a lot of the major sports out there, all the big leagues, they're all trying to get fans back as well. So it's a great way to do it.
For sure. And I don't think MLB sells as much as the FIFA sells. I think FIFA worldwide, that's the game. Yeah. That's the game that sells tons and tons of copies, more so than the other. Probably even more than Madden. FIFA sells.
Oh, FIFA's probably one of the biggest selling games, ever, in history. Like, they were still doing PS2 game. I think the last PS2 game was FIFA 14.
Wow.
On PlayStation 2. They were still building because there's so many countries, and especially in South America and whatnot, where you can't get those new consoles unless you're, the top 1% or whatnot. So and the PS2, I mean, they're pumping, buddy.
Yeah. We talk about what sells systems, right? FIFA, Madden, and Call of Duty. People will buy a system just to play that game.
Yeah, the casuals.
They're massive.
Unless you're Canadian, then it's NHL.
Yes,
right? They do an NHL bundle with the console every single year.
Love it. NHL 21 and FIFA 21 also coming to Game Pass. NHL 21 is out on Game Pass now, as by the time you hear this, it's out.
Nice.
And FIFA apparently sometime in May. Now, this is part of that agreement that Game Pass has with EA. If you remember EA Access, all of their games are on Game Pass. So I think this is that. these games are coming to EA Access, and since EA Access is part of Game Pass Ultimate, it's coming to Game Pass as well. So they can say that. They're yanking a bunch of the old games. I heard EA's pulling out like older versions of Madden, like the 17, 18, 19.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Who cares, right? Who cares? Who plays? Exactly. If you have access to the latest and greatest 21, why would you go back and play 18 unless that's the year your team was rad and the roster was better or whatever? I used to do that with the Packers. They kind of they stunk for a while, but I still had the Genesis game when they were decent. Put that one in rather than the new one where everyone sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Are you going to fire up a little bit of Chell there, Joel? Play some old fashioned ice hockey. Try it out.
I don't think so, man.
Lace the skates up.
I don't know. Hockey for me would be more of a little hits. Right? NHL hits is what I need. Arcadia version.
Right. Practice those T-drags.
All right. Now you're just showing off. TikTok boy.
Pointing to the Rockets. Come on, boys. Yeah.
Well, that's your bi-weekly Game Pass update there.
Awesome.
Some big games. Big games. And I think we miss an NBA. The Series X version of NBA maybe in Game Pass. Otherwise, they've got the full suite, man. They'll have the Madden, they'll have the NHL, the FIFA, the MLB.
Need an NBA Jam.
NBA Jam needs an update, right? We need a new NBA Jam.
Yeah, we're due, man. We need another one, man. I was actually fired up going through it because of all the PS3 stuff, man. I even fired up that was it the On Fire edition that they did, the last one that they did? Man, that's so good, man.
Not bad.
Talk about gems. There's one. There's your first one. Stay tuned the next episode for a second game. There'll be a lot more.
We've got a Green Saber guy update. Carl, you want to read? You got to talk about the next bit of news?
Yeah, a bit disappointing. Well, for me anyway. They basically TT Games have come out and said that the Skywalker Saga Lego Star Wars is delayed indefinitely, which is I don't think the game's not cancelled, but it was announced years ago, and it's kind of like they redoing from scratch all the Star Wars movies in the new Lego Star Wars game, and the graphics are great. Like it was all just proper next gen stuff, and it looked really, really cool. Whole new story is brilliant, and then it's kind of just sunk into the background. There haven't really been any developer updates, and the game has slipped from 2020, 2021, and now they're like, oh, okay, well, we're not going to make spring, and we just no idea when it's going to be ready. So, their statement pretty much just said, we're working hard to make it. We're trying to make it the biggest and best ever Lego game, but we're going to need more time to do it. We won't be able to make the intended spring release, but we'll provide updated launch time as soon as we can. So there's literally no idea if it's going to be 2021. I think by the fact that they've said it isn't specifically still going to hit 2021, I would imagine it won't be. So I'm kind of bummed about that. I was looking forward to playing this. So the Lego games have got very fond memories for me for the past couple of generations, with some great ones of the PS3 and PS4, and it's just a shame, that this was kind of going to be the one I was looking forward to on the PS5, but we'll still get it, I'm sure, but yeah, not for a long while.
I think you're going to see a lot of delays this year.
Yeah, man.
Especially because I think TT Games, I think they're an English developer, and there's been a lot of lockdowns and whatnot. So I think you're going to see a lot of games getting pushed back and delayed because of the old pandini.
Pandini, I like that. So it sounds much less threatening when it's the pandini,
right?
Versus the pandemic.
The best of everything, man. Come on, man.
It's like a pizza topping, pandini.
Or if you say COVID in a French accent, if it's COVID, it sounds more. It just sounds cooler, doesn't it? And more upbeat. You know what I mean?
Sounds pleasant. Sounds like just a case of diarrhea or something, just real quick in out, COVID.
Well, if you've ever been to Paradise,
I've got some reading to do here because this next story is kind of complex, but Last of Us remake was not officially announced, rumored to be coming, but kind of behind the scenes, people are yakking away, and it's pretty much understood that there is a Last of Us remake being made for the PlayStation 5. So not a remaster, but a remake. Going back and doing that game all over again. Bloomberg posted a story. They said a small team had big ambitions for Last of Us remake, but Sony handed the work to their star studio, Naughty Dog. Okay, Naughty Dog. Doesn't Naughty Dog make the Last of Us games?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was so to start the news, there was a small team who had ambitions to remake it. They pitched it. They started doing it, whatever that beginning initial work is. And then Sony apparently took it from them and gave it to Naughty Dog. And in the process, I'm summarizing a lot of information here as best I can succinctly. There's this small group, this team is upset, disappointed. Their morale is real low. Bunch of them ejected, left. They're working for Sony and the studio involved with this game. I'm just kind of checking my notes here. Sony's focus on exclusive. This is from the Bloomberg article, and then they kind of take a little bit of a leap here. Connect the dots from this small team being upset, employee morale, to this bigger picture, potential PlayStation shift in focus. And they said Sony's focus on exclusive blockbusters has come at the expense of niche teams and studios within the PlayStation organization, leading to high turnover and less choice for players. Less choice for gamers, they're saying. Last week, Sony reorganized the development office in Japan, resulting in mass departures of people who worked on less well-known but acclaimed games such as Gravity Rush and Everybody's Golf. The company has informed developers that no longer wants to produce smaller games and are only successful in Japan. So apparently, according to this article, Sony is going after the world market on their big flagship titles. Less interested than they've been in the past, potentially, on games that maybe only do well in Japan, but don't do well in others. Previously, right, Sony was, you think of like Kojima, Final Fantasy, a lot of the like exclusive titles that they wrapped up, even from third-party developers that were very Japanese. When you think back to PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 especially, lots of Japanese titles that some of which were hits in the US and some of which only were hits in Japan. But the assertion of this article is that PlayStation and Sony they're focusing their attention on the Horizon Zero Dawns, the God of Wars, the maybe Ghost of Tsushima sequel. What am I missing? Ratchet and Clank, the Uncharted, those huge games that do well globally is their focus. Morale is low. Is there this bigger picture doom and gloom maybe that Bloomberg is potentially saying? Is Sony hurting their future by shifting their focus potentially towards these kind of games? What do you guys think? What does this mean for the brand long term?
I think I wouldn't say. I don't think there's a problem right now, but I do think it's a bit of a warning sign. We've had Demon's Souls remade on PS5, and it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But what we don't want is a cycle where games are going to be remastered or remade. This is a PS3 game remastered on the PS4 and then remade on the PS5. Like, that's not a route you want to be going down. Do I think it'd still sell if they did a remake of the original game and it was like Demon's Souls is on the PS5? I think it would still sell. I think especially after The Last of Us 2, without throwing numbers out there, Last of Us on PS3 sold over 10 million units, and I think Last of Us 2 on PS4, despite the PS4 selling an awful lot of consoles, didn't do half that. So I think there'll be a certain amount of nostalgia for people who didn't enjoy The Last of Us 2 and did enjoy The Last of Us to have a remake on the PS5. I think it'd still sell, but it's not the path I want them to go down, really. Like, I do want to see direct sequels, that's fine. But we do still need to see those new IPs as well.
I think on the Last of Us remake topic, a couple things. We don't know the full story of what happened with this small studio. We don't know. Maybe they got caught doing something that they shouldn't have. We don't know. And we're probably never going to see that side of the story ever or hear about it. Sure, there's the HBO show coming out, so having a remake to tie in with the show, not necessarily a bad idea. The show is obviously going to, like any show based on whether it be a book or video game or a box of milk, they usually have a little bit different story. The Uncharted movie is going to have a little bit different story, something we haven't seen. That's going to piss off a lot of the fans of the video game series, and I'm sure that's going to happen with this one. But it's an opportunity to have a remake of the game that will tie into the show for people to bring them over, buy a game, buy a console, possibly. That is definitely there. And I think it may also give them an opportunity to end the first game in a way where it might tie into the part 2 a little bit better. There's a lot of people's complaints about that part 2. So I think there's definitely a lot of opportunity here, but the article seems to paint everything being negative. And you see that in a lot of articles nowadays. So people like to run with it and make it sound a lot worse than it is without really knowing both sides of what's happening. And I think that's a little bit of a case here. Now on to shutting down other studios and focusing globally. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's as a big studio, you want to do that. I don't think will hurt the company wise in the long run, but I think PlayStation would lose some of its character. And a lot of its character has been those Japanese mascots, some of the Japanese exclusivity that they've had, a lot of franchises being born there and then kind of tweaked and brought over to North America and whatnot. I think in that way that will, maybe hurt the image of them, just losing a little bit of that, that character that they've had. But
and originality.
Yeah, and it seems like, this kind of ties into the store being shut down on PS3 and the Vita. It seems like they want to maybe put that era behind them. And my theory to that is the hack that they went into with the PlayStation 3 and got hacked on the network. They think they want to forget about that and put that away and nothing to see. And the PS4 has been a clean start for them going forward. And you're seeing a different brand of PlayStation that we've seen. And I think that goes with the Vita as well. The Vita came out in 2011, late 2011, 2012. And it seemed like it was only supported for a few years. And the Vita got jailbroken around 2015. And that's when you saw the support drop. And you started seeing first-party support drop. And it's just kind of like they just left it out and didn't care. And now that's it. So I think I've been thinking way too much about this, believe me, guys. But I've talked to, a lot of friends and whatnot that still use their Vitas, and I've been, bouncing stuff out about like what to buy and whatnot, and it's just conversation out. And I just think we're going to start seeing a completely different brand of PlayStation, and it's kind of sucks at this point because you don't really know. People may not know. People may not see that. I could be out to lunch. Believe me, this could be all. Who knows, right? He's having a few 2 beers in the pocket. You got to listen to his Uncle Shane's gonna, So who knows? But I mean, it's just like it just seems that with closing these stores and this article just trying to be a little bit more global, and then just kind of leaving the Japanese kind of market and kind of not really focusing on that exclusivity anymore. It just seems something different.
I don't disagree with anything you've just said, Mike, in all fairness. I think
you can't. It's in the contract.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to disagree. But I think there's one other part of this as well that we need to remember. the era of the remaster is pretty much gone away, right? So the transition between the last generation and this generation, there's a lot of free upgrades, there's performance enhancements and things like that. But the actual branding of this is the remaster, this is the, they're not going to be able to do what they did. And Sony remastering Last of Us from PS3 to PS4 shipped in 10 million copies, right? So they're now looking at that going, if we remake the game, it might sell another 10 million copies. So, and as we know with games like Demon's Souls, there's demand for it. Like people would have lost their shit when Demon's Souls was announced. Ask anyone who's played Bloodborne on PS4, myself included. It's locked at 30 frames per second. People are clamoring for that to be remade or remastered on PS5, but they won't because it's sold like, I don't know, 1 or 2 million copies. That's it. So they're not going to be putting that at the top of the tree. They're going to come out with The Last of Us and be like, if we shift 5 or 6 million of these, brilliant. If we do if we remake Uncharted from the start, like, could you imagine if they remade Uncharted, same games but just remake 1, 2, and 3?
No.
Money in the bank.
Why?
Might happen. I wouldn't put it past. I would not put it past them
because people are buying
money in the bank.
People would buy them. 100%.
Maybe not PS5, but maybe next generation. You may see, I mean, they're going to show, they're incredible stories. They're fantastic stories. Eventually, they're going to feel really dated and clunky. Why not remake them? Keep telling those tales that, what people grew up with, and then they down to their kids. Oh, you have the remake. Oh, I remember this stuff. You're going to love this. Wait till you get to that train mission.
Yeah, man. And it's like they're doing it with Final Fantasy. They're doing it with Fable on the Xbox. I never played Fable originally, but it's meant to be amazing. So yeah, I'll buy that.
No, it's not amazing. It's overrated.
But seriously, the voice acting, the quality, the caliber of the voice acting in it, and all that stuff going into an RPG, I'm sold on it.
Yeah, maybe.
But we digress a little bit, but there's definitely demand for it. I could totally understand them wanting to put that in a more secure studio to be like, these guys made the original game. Let's give it them. Let's get it done. And let's get some money in the bank.
Yeah, and they're making the HBO show, which the article talks about as well. They're putting it in the hands of the same people, and Shane hit on this. Maybe there is some tie-in to that HBO show that's coming out, that they can, having that synergy with the studio doing the game remake and the TV show. Maybe there's some money to be made there, and then connecting the two a little closer somehow.
And they've done like sequels before and taken them away from the original studio and given them to other studios to do, and they haven't done as well, right? Like Little Big Planet is the first one that came to mind for me when I was thinking about this. Like Media Molecule knocked it out of the park. Those first 2 games were great, and then they had a different studio doing it, and it wasn't the same. It lost a lot of its charm.
Yeah, but I think
something about it wasn't there.
I think Naughty Dog's strength, though, is the storytelling. And how they pull you into their gameplay and their experience of everything, the interactivity of the movie. I mean, Last of Us 2 is a phenomenal game. I'm surprised, Carl, it sold less than the first one. I'm actually shocked. That was
it sold less than half of the remake of the remaster of the original on PS4.
That's crazy to me, because that game is like a high watermark in storytelling in a video game, in my opinion. It was amazing. Yes, it's like a great book.
There was also the person that leaked all of the cutscenes, and everybody, nobody wants their own opinion. They want to take the other next person. Oh, I heard shit. I heard shit. Trash game. Yeah, I'm not doing it. You haven't even experienced it. And we talked about this when we did our impressions on it, and a bit of a spoiler on that. And I think there's a big reason why the numbers are way down on it. Way down, boys. Way down on Last of Us Part 2.
Is video games becoming just the big money? You unexpectedly, both of you guys, Shane and Carl, you're sort of making, I didn't expect this at all, you're sort of making the point of what Bloomberg is saying here. You're saying it.
Trying to.
Shane said it's a little bit of clickbait. It's a little bit of a sensationalized media, and they're jumping a little bit, or I said that. But you're concerned that there are signs that they are going this direction. And as PlayStation fans, that concerns you a little bit. You're sort of agreeing with the leap that this Bloomberg article is making. Am I wrong there?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, yes, to a point. Business wise, I don't think it's a jump they might have to take at this point, and I don't think business wise it's really going to hurt them. Maybe, but those old characters and whatnot, that's what we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose that, like the era of like pre PS4 and whatnot. Those characters and whatnot, I think that bit of it we're gonna lose, but it's gonna be, it's like full motion picture games, the stuff they've been doing with these big, Naughty Dog titles, and the big series, the Ghost of Tsushimas and whatnot. That's what they want. They want the blockbusters. They want the blockbuster AAAs, and Days Gone didn't get that, even though it was still a great game, but it wasn't.
People love it
too. AAA that they expected. So, how much more money are they gonna? How much more money are you gonna dump into something? It's like, okay, what? Just leave it. On to the next. Let's get something else going. Let's try something.
Exactly. And with some of these exclusives, like Persona 5 for me, I love that game. It's incredible.
Really?
But they're not going to be knocking Atlas's door down, going right, next one again, PlayStation 5 exclusive, because it didn't sell in the it doesn't sell in the numbers that they're going to get. And as much as I would kill for another, I know I've said that I've got Persona 5 Strikers, but like Persona 6 or whatever, it's just not going. It's not going to be on the priority for them. They're like, well, how much resource do we have to allocate on the studio to make this game? How much is and realistically, how much is it going to sell? So it wouldn't surprise me if the next one of those is cross-platform as well. Just depends on what they want to do. But the studio stuff is sad, and a lot of people being impacted and all the rest of it. But whenever you work for someone else, you're only ever a number. You should always remember that. And yes, it's disappointing for those people in that studio, but this is unfortunately the world we live in.
It's the big leagues too.
Yeah, that was my initial reaction when I read this. Having been a number in a large corporation, I no longer work for the huge bureaucratic companies anymore in my career, but I have. And I made a conscious decision to not work for these companies because they just chew you up and spit you out. I felt like I wasn't cared about as a person at all. And I had a health situation and a stress situation and all sorts of crap come from my job, where I was like, you know what? I want to go work for a smaller company where they actually care about their people. Because over here, I'm going to get just chewed up and spit out. It happens to the best of us. It happens to a lot of us. We're all out there grinding. Morale is low at times. That ebbs and flows, right? I've always, in my career, I haven't been happy-go-lucky always. There's always been moments where it's like, oh shit, this just sucks. It's not always great. And here I am reading an article about there's low morale. It's like, well, no shit. It's a giant corporation. This is how this shit works, right? So my first reaction was like, who cares? Good. Like, welcome to my world. Yeah, it blows. That's what happens.
Yeah. It's not always going to go your way. Your vision's not always the best vision, and they're going to tell you. So,
but the bigger picture here, and I feel like a little bit of a heel turn. I'm going to use a wrestling,
a
little wrestling lingo here. A heel turn. Xbox wasn't selling as many consoles as PlayStation for a long time because they put way too much focus on Forza, Gears, Halo, and these games there's so many of them. After a while, people are like, enough already. Exactly. We need fresh IPs. We need new games. So they went and bought Bethesda. They're rumored to be working with Kojima on potentially having an exclusive game from him. They're doing all of these things. They're playing Sony's card that got Sony so much success, with the addition of Game Pass, obviously, which is totally a different situation. But now you see Sony starting to play like Xbox's cards a little bit, potentially. Like, we need to make more Halos. We need to make more Forzas. We need to make more Gears. But as a fan, as a gamer, and we're talking about, you guys were mentioning, like, well, it makes good business sense. Sure. Dollars and cents, it makes great sense. But that's not what made PlayStation what PlayStation is today. It's not making dollars.
Yeah.
It's making these great games that we all love and are fans of. That's important. And if they lose sight of that, that's a problem.
Yeah. But I think, and there's two games to look at when you look at this. You're right. You're not wrong there, Job, when you say about Gears, Halo, Forza. But all those games, very linear, very, 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 each iteration, very, very, very similar. And that's what Sony ran into with Uncharted, right? So they've done 1, 2, 3, 4, drop 4, and they're like, right, this needs to be the last one, of this storyline. And they kind of get it, and yet it follows the same pattern as the other games, but they get away with it because it crosses a console generation. It just looks prettier, all the rest of it. So,
and not to cut you off, Carl, and there's a lot of time between those games where
True.
It seems like a lot of the Xbox games, like every year or every 2 years, even you're getting a new Forza. You could count on new Forza every year. It was just like always getting pumped out. It seemed like within 2 years.
Yeah, between the simulation style Forza and the Horizon, they were kind of alternating.
True.
It was always back to back,
Yep.
and whatnot. And now it seems like they're stretching that out, which is great. I'm very intrigued at what the next motorsport is going to bring. But whereas Naughty Dog, they've really kind of stretched those out and made their build that want.
And then they dropped in the bite size one. And change the characters around, and so kind of freshen that up. But it's still linked into 4, and so you've got that approach. But I think there is an understanding of staggering the games a little bit better. But then you've got the other situation with God of War, where you'd saturated that to the point. I don't know if anyone was really looking forward to a new God of War game in the same kind of way that it was across all the other console generations, and they changed it around. It's like, let's make it a step out. Let's change the combat. Let's change the way it plays. Let's, put a bit more on emphasis on like the RPG sides and put it in Norse mythology. Like they completely changed it up. So now that game feels like a completely fresh experience, and everyone's like, "Oh, the next God of War!" Like, and it feels like it's the second God of War game rather than the 10th or whatever it might be. So I think there's a realization there that they can't fall down that rabbit hole, and I'd hope that they don't. But you're right. If they keep churning out a sequel every other year, then it's only going to end the same way for them as it did for Microsoft.
Yeah, and Microsoft, mind you, still made money. I mean, they're not losing money with the Xbox. It's a successful business. We're talking about business and making money. They're making money. But
100%.
I love console wars. Not in the I'm going to go on the internet and rip on the other guy kind of bullshit way. But I love the competition. I find it fascinating. The same thing with my guitars and a lot of other things that we have in our lives. Stratocaster or Les Paul? Well, they're very different guitars. There's no right answer. But the hell if I ain't going to sit there and research the shit out of it like every other day, because I'm so passionate about this stuff. Same is true with PlayStation and Xbox. I love this competitiveness. Carl said they got away from doing remasters. How much of that has to do with Xbox? And the smart delivery and backwards compatibility, that the competition is pulling each of these companies up. The competitiveness between these two is absolutely fascinating. And I think as gamers, we win in this situation. Yep. It's so great to see this happening. I love it. And then you got Nintendo over there still churning out remaster after remaster after remaster. All these Wii U games coming out on the Switch. Could give a shit about Xbox and PlayStation and what they're doing, and are killing it. Killing it. Where these two, though, they just seem they're kind of in the same ballpark a little bit with, I know we've talked about, and it's true, Game Pass is the subscription service, is a totally different direction than for Xbox, than great exclusive games for PlayStation. They have a divergent path now, but they seem to be kind of heading back towards each other again. They're like careening towards each other again. And I love this stuff.
Absolutely.
I love talking about it. I love reading about it. I hate seeing the people on the internet are like, your system sucks and how dare you give MLB on Game Pass and all. Don't get me wrong, not that kind of console war, but I love this stuff. I love picking one system and rooting for it.
seeing who comes up with what, you know, to push the envelope. What's somebody going to do next? You know, how is the rival going to, you know, counterpunch this? What are they going to come up with? You know, what's everybody doing? You know, that's the interesting part of it.
Totally. And that's why I think, sorry, Carl, I think in our Discord, we were chatting about this a little bit. I think Sony's working on Game Pass. They're working on something.
Wait, we have a Discord?
Yeah. Check us out on Discord. Hey,
How do I do that?
We got more to talk about. We should move on to the next bits of our show here. If you'd like to support us, 3 easy ways you can do so. You can tell a friend. That's the biggest. Tell a friend. Pass the word out. Leave us a review on iTunes. Join us on Discord. We do have a Discord. You can find links to all of that on our website, abandofgamers.com. Love to have you over there, have you join our conversation. Evil Tacos just joined us on Discord. Welcome, Evil Tacos. Thanks for joining us over there.
Legend.
Appreciate it. Want to share what we're drinking, fellas?
Boy,
do we have anything left in our glasses after those long conversations?
I've got to go and grab a new one.
All right.
What? He's got to grab a new one.
Go grab one. Shane, you want to get us started, man? It's been a while, I think, since you started this segment.
Yeah, I'm a little fired up.
Good.
I like beer, man. That's good, man. I had a good time today.
That's great chat.
Good reunion show. I know people are going to be tuning in for the first time. It's like, oh, it's a reunion. Where did these guys go? Let's look. Nah, man, we're the same old ABOG. It's great. I've gone with just my trusty local IPA from the good folks down in Boombox Brewing. My Subsonic, my little 4%ers. I love them. Low alcohol, high flavor. That's my go-to beer. You know, and with the pandini going on, I'm not venturing out to too many cold beer and wine stores or breweries and whatnot. I kind of lay low, you know, do my part. So when I go buy beer, I head right down to the brewery and pick up a few flats, and then I'm good for, you know, a month, you know, 4 or 6 weeks and whatnot. And we're good. So that's my go-to. We haven't been trying too many new things. So yeah, you know, sometimes and it's a good beer, man. I want to think about how many flats of this stuff I've bought in the past year, but it's like, no, I don't even want to know. Don't even want to know.
Sometimes a recycle bin reminds you. You know, trash gets picked up once a week. We got that big blue recycle bin in the garage. Throw our cans in there. Every once in a while, I carry that out to the road, and that fucker's full. It's like, I dropped mine off. That was a good week.
I've been dropping mine off at the bottle depot. They got the like a no contact thing now. Like you used to have to sit there and then like add up all your empties and then sit away. And that's a pain in the butt, man. You're getting stung by wamps and bumblebees and all sorts of stuff, right? So I hate doing that. Plus there's some rowdy folks down there, man. They get rowdy, you know, when the empties come in. So they got this thing and it's got your name and it goes right to your account, and then they e-transfer however much it is, and it's like, do that and that's fine. I really can't be bothered to hang out at a bottle depot on a weekend. So yeah, it's not bad, man.
Nicely done, man. I just give mine to the garbage guy and I don't make any money on it. I probably should bag up these cans and take them somewhere and get a couple bucks back.
Right, exactly.
Right. You get money for that.
Yeah, recycling.
Yes. Thing called recycling.
I mean, we recycle, but you don't get a kickback for it.
Well, you got to do the work. You got to take it to the bottle depot like Shane does. You got to take it to the recycle people.
Yeah, man, get stung a few times.
And then they
fired up.
They give you money for it. Oh,
Girl's allergic to bees, though, aren't you?
No, not bees.
That's hazelnuts.
I can eat bees. I just can't eat nuts and mushrooms.
You could eat
hazelnuts.
Bees.
Like when we almost killed Carl and Vancouver.
You guys always killed me, and that Italian drinking chocolate.
Oh, that's right. Why am I laughing? Sorry, Carl.
Because it was funny.
I survived. It's fine.
He was all worried. We're like, dude, don't relax. It's Canada, man. Don't worry. You don't need medical here, man. We'll bring you back to life. You'd be like a zombie, Carl.
Yeah,
it's like that scene in Pulp Fiction where he just stabs us straight in the chest. Sure, there we go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the vaccination felt like.
Oh God.
Did they take a running start?
No, but that needle, man, it's a big boy. Yeah, we got together in person a few years ago for the one and only time all three of us were together, and we almost killed Carl with a beer with some sort of allergic reaction kind of thing in there.
I can't believe we never told this story.
No.
Right?
Luckily, Shane knows the Heimlich. Nah, it didn't get that bad.
No, it was.
That's what he said.
But Carl's
See,
scrambling
Carl
like,
He went ghost
What's-
white.
what's in this beer? We're like looking at the ingredients on the can. I'm like, oh shit, are you allergic to something in here?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Hazelnut, mate.
Well, I went to the
Oh.
the grocery store earlier, had that Visa gift card, and we got some home projects going on here. I might need a new roof. I've been told need to curtail the beer. These $20 4-packs, man. You got to chill out on these beers. So I've been drinking $10 6-packs. I'm kind of slumming it. Just doing the old school. I drank a Pabst the other day. I drink a PBRs. Just give me some beers while I'm grilling. I can slum it. I get it. Because I had a little extra ching there and a gift card. Went through the grocery store earlier and needed something special for ABOG, right? Saw this new Eagle Park on the shelf called Double Dry Hopped Immortal Soul.
You have my attention.
Double Dry Hopped Immortal Soul. I'm like, what is this? What kind of beer is? It's got to be an IPA. It's double dry hopped. Flip it over. Imperial West Coast style India Pale Ale.
Oh,
Bingo. Winner.
Buddy.
Winner.
And is that a snake on the can?
Yeah. Looks
Is
like
that the snake with the bell?
Looks like a snake eating his tail or something. Like it's a.
Oh, it's a Nokia beer.
That's pretty tasty brew. Doesn't for a double dry hopped. It's very clear. Doesn't have all the sentiment, as Shane calls it, as these normal double dry hops have. It's definitely got that West Coast look to it, and it has that West Coast taste. So speaking of the last time us three were together out in Vancouver, man, West Coast style beers, I love them. I love a good West Coast style beer, and the best ones are out on the West Coast, obviously, but we do get an occasional good one over here too.
Nah, you got some goodies, bud.
Throw this on a list. 8.2%. This isn't the Glass Joe 4% that Shane has there on our scale. I don't know what 8.2 is. These guys probably call it like a heavy lightweight 8.2. You guys are really harsh on that scale. You're hard. You need 15% to be a heavyweight.
Right? That's a solid middleweight you got there.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd say it's a low heavy, but all right.
Oh, bless you.
All right, Carl, what you got?
Yeah, what'd you go to the store for?
Well, Joel's just there talking about the cost of some of these beers, right? Which is a bit crazy. They're not on the cheap side of life, some of them. So when you stumble across a brew which is easy on the wallet and easy on the palate, you got a winning combination. So I've held off the BrewDog beers lately. I've been over at Vocation, enjoying a lot of their fine brews. And you couldn't get a more 90s beer than this, right? Like if you're in the UK. This one is called Mallow Laser Quest, right?
What?
Yeah. So it just reminds me of laser tag and, just sweets and shit when I was growing up. And this is a marshmallow and pineapple IPA. And I'm getting I knew I'd get these looks right. 6.2%. So it's in the middle there between you boys. And
That's cool.
Every now and again they do these limited edition ones, and these are mainly produced for supermarket chains. So when you're talking, Joel, about those $10 6-packs, you can actually get these 4 cans for the tall boy ones. They're decent size. A 4-pack for £6 at Tesco in the UK.
Nice.
Ridiculously cheap. So I've been drinking. I tried these a couple of weeks ago, and Faye had a couple, and she was like, "Wow, these are really good." So she's finally found a beer that she really, really enjoys, and doesn't give you an instant headache like some of these, the thick citrusy ones can. And this has just got all the taste. It's got a hint of that marshmallow, but it's mainly like tropical fruits, bit of pineapple in there, but like candied fruits, like almost sweets and sherbet.
Right.
It's got a lot of that sweetness in there. I'd say that you can't have too many of them because it's too sweet, but that's not true. They keep going down really, really well. Great colour, nice and thick, like a cloudy apple juice. Hell of a good beer. It's not a traditional beer, if you don't like craft beer, you don't like some of these sweet experimentation ones, and you wouldn't be into it. But if you want a good quaffable, refreshing brew, especially in the summer. Yeah, this is really, really good. Not bad at all for 4 cans for £6. You can't complain.
I'm impressed with the word quaffable.
Right?
Well done. Marshmallow and pineapple. The first thing that comes to mind is quaffable. That's brilliant. All right, raise them glasses. Cheers to ABOG. Every 2 weeks and on top of the world. Cheers. Great conversations today. Man, mine's got I can see on video here what these guys got. Mine's definitely got that West Coast color compared to both your beers, which are quaffable.
A little bit of that caramel.
Well, we're going a little long this episode, but it's all good because we got more. We got lots more to come up here. First of all, we got that e-penis section where you can grow that PlayStation number, which we haven't done in a while. I feel like Shane and Carl, you guys are getting lazy with your e-penis.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Let's switch our flacids to hard. What you got?
Guilty as charged. Yeah, it's been a while, man. I've had I've had a couple that I haven't really mentioned, but we're streaming yesterday and the folks were asking what's going on with the e-penis. So, you know what? People need to, get a couple new platinums. So we got one for you. It is cross-buy. So you buy it on the PlayStation 4, you get it on the PlayStation 5. Well, I don't have a PlayStation 5.
That's going away. The cross-buy, man. The plat. That's coming to an end here in August, right?
No. PS4,
new generation.
PS5. There's a whole new generation of plats.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's for the youth, coming up. I heard the term plat on another show. You heard it here first, though.
Who did that?
People taking my shit again, man. That's all right, though. Enjoy it. Get it out there. Anywho, okay. Platinum Trophy game is called Legends of Talia Arcadia. It is a visual novel. However, you don't have to make any choices in this game. Basically, what you do is you go into the settings, you tweak a few things, fire the game up, you hold down R1, and about a minute later, you got yourself a Platinum Trophy. Super easy. I think the game is the game's literally about $2. Takes a minute. Then what you do is you fire up the PS4 or the other version. I actually did them on the PS5 because you're able to download them both there. Switch between versions. We haven't talked about that. Switch between versions. Really, really cool. In the settings,
it's a feature,
did it again.
Not a hindrance, right?
Ooh. Hold down R1 again. Literally a minute later. Bang, bang. There you go. 2 platinum trophies. I got 85 and 86. I'm up to now.
Well done.
You're chasing after me, dude.
Trying, man.
There's no shame you look at that number, and there's no shame in those numbers. It's when you dig in and you look closely and you're like, wait a second. No, you don't know.
Exactly.
You don't know.
Nobody's going to take the time to go and look through them all.
No.
And people only ever ask on social media, like, what's your favorite platinum? You're like, oh, yeah, well, it's, a proper one. Like, oh, there's Borderlands 2 or, whatever.
Burnout Paradise.
You never say, Burnout Paradise. You never say, Mr. Massaggi, whatever. You know what I mean?
Great platinum.
Mr. Massaggi.
My name is Mallow. How many people don't do my name is Mallow? They don't want to click that X button. Oh, my controller.
No. They don't want to ruin the controller.
Controller drift. Yeah.
Love it.
There's 86 platinums say otherwise. Let's go. So, yeah, nice and easy. Cheap too. Go get them. Go get yourself a couple platinums. You deserve it. You do.
Totally. I've been playing the Microsoft Rewards game where I'm trying to figure out the best way to get my points so that I can get Game Pass Ultimate for free. And if I can make this a viable monthly thing. So far, so good. So far, so good. Game Pass quests. I'll probably start to include these on the show. They're excellent, man. I had one today, which was like play a top 10 Xbox game. There's a list of their top 10 games. Forza Horizon 4 is on that list. Just get a plat in that game. We'll give you 100 points or whatever it was. Like, sweet. I haven't fired up Forza Horizon 4 in a while. Fired it up. Found something different. Got a trophy, or excuse me, an achievement. Uh-oh. Wrong nomenclature there. Got an achievement. Got some points towards my Game Pass Ultimate. Very cool. So I'm continuing to grind on the rewards and seeing if I can actually pull this off, not pay for Game Pass Ultimate anymore. Not that it's not worth it, but save myself $15 by doing some quizzes and some Bing searches in Microsoft search engine and these Game Pass quests. And they have daily, weekly, and monthly quests. And it's just taking me to places I wouldn't probably have gone otherwise, and totally digging it.
It's so cool. And I don't think they champion that enough. Like, we heard a lot of great things about Game Pass and films, but the actual quest stuff and earning those points, it very rarely mentioned. I wish they did it on PC, I've got to say, because
I was thinking about this, dude. Game Pass Ultimate includes PC.
Yes. And I have Game Pass Ultimate.
So how is this not applicable to PC? I don't get that.
Because I can only get the points if I play on the console, which I actually don't have an Xbox at the minute, but I can play on the phone. Do you know what I mean? Like with the
cloud.
Cloud. So I could do it that way, but anything you've actually played on the PC doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So which is a bit of a shame, but I'm sure they'll fix it at some point.
But you could do
and
like
I do play a fair bit of Game Pass on PC, including this game that's coming now.
All right, go ahead.
A little Game Pass gem for you. You know, we have, again, like the EP, we haven't talked about them for a little while. Monster Train, which I've seen on there a couple of times, and I'm like, this looks like it's going to be up my alley. A friend of the show, Adrian, recommended Slay the Spire to me. God, it must be 2 years ago now, which I picked up on Steam. Great game, card-based battling system thing, which is exactly what Monster Train is. And if you're familiar with roguelike games, especially like Dead Cells, things like that, where you go through, you do a playthrough, you die, you start at the beginning, you've unlocked a couple of new things, and you do it again. That's what this is really. Very interesting one though, because it's really well produced. It looks super shiny and pretty. The developer's Shiny Shoe, I thought I'd never heard of, but apparently they're behind the remasters of a lot of the old point-and-click adventure games. So they did Full Throttle, Day of the Tentacle, Grim Fandango, did those. They also did the Banner Saga as well, which kind of with the graphical style matches up as well. So that made sense. And Subnautica. So not quite the tiny little independent studio that I thought, but this is really cool. I've streamed a bit of this as well. It's a great game just to throw on for an hour and just play through. A lot of the rogue games that you play, they tend to have a big steep difficulty curve. You kind of start the game, you're like a Hades, where you're like, you can never finish that first run, and until you finish that first run, you don't understand kind of how the game works and how you're meant to go back and do again and again and again. The great thing with Monster Train is that you can actually boot it up for a couple of hours and play through and finish a run and actually get through the game and get a few rewards, and it's not too difficult at all. And the addiction is then in unlocking the new cards, unlocking the new spells and monsters, and then doing another run. And each time you play through one, you unlock different I suppose what they're called, different clans, I suppose, that you can select of who you play through. So you pick a main clan and you pick an allied clan. You play like main and a second, and you unlock cards for those as you go through this one, then this one, then this one, and you end up with a nice balanced deck between the two clan types. And the game essentially is based on a train. So you're in a train carriage and it's got 4 levels on it, and on those 4 floors, 3 of those, you've got a monster battle taking place. So you put your guys down, they put theirs down. You buff them, you weaken the opponent, and then the battle takes place. At the end of each battle, the enemy, if they get past you, moves up to the next floor of the carriage that you're on. And if they get to the 4th floor, there's no enemy units, none of your units on there. There's just your fire, your pyre, which is basically your health. And it's got a bit of armor, it can attack a bit, but when that's destroyed, game over, your run's over, and you start again. So really, really good. Like I've thoroughly enjoyed him. You can see a bit more of it over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Stratham. There's a little run through there of an hour or so when I had a little bit of lunch, and I thought, well, I'll jump on and play a bit and have a little break from work. It's a great chewing gum game. You don't have to focus too much on it. Jump in. Those achievements are pop in. Nice and easy. yeah, it's really, really pretty to look at. It's good, nice sort of soundtrack, well voice acted. Yeah, I can't fault it really. It's a proper little gem, and this is always the sign of a good game, right? Especially with these kind of games. I have finished it. I've done a few runs now, back to back. I increased difficulty levels, and I'm still going back and like, oh, let's just do a new run. Let's just, see what I'll unlock next. Definitely worth your time. It's probably one of the best type of these kind of games I've played. I do love Dead Cells, but this is definitely more user friendly. I'd definitely be a bit more easy on the frustration levels for sure. But thoroughly enjoyed it.
Sounds pretty good, man. Game Pass game too, you said, hey? On PC, obviously? You just said you don't have a console?
Yeah, Game Pass on PC. I don't know if it's on the consoles as well, but
probably
definitely on PC.
Probably. Not sure either, though.
Probably. It's Play Anywhere. I'm sure you can do it. And last but by no means least, me and Shane did a little stream last night, a little bonus ABOG action.
Yeah.
And as we like to do, we have a look at the offerings on PlayStation Plus, see what new is coming up, in and around. And we played Zombie Army 4 Dead War, which neither me nor Shane had played one of these games before. Apparently, it's a offshoot of the Sniper Elite games, which didn't really know.
Oh yeah.
But definitely worth jumping in and having a little play. This is actually the sequel to a 2015 game where it was called Zombie Army Trilogy, which, again, I think this might have been free on Plus,
Yeah.
I'm sure I own this, and I've never played it. But basically, Hitler brings the Nazi army back to life as the undead, and you have to go and kill them all in a series of horde mode kind of encounters. This has actually got a little campaign mode, which we started yesterday, and you kind of play through, and you get to a checkpoint, then there's the horde of zombies come in, kill them all, move to the next checkpoint, boss fight, finish. It's so fun to play. Like the zombies are slow enough that you never feel overwhelmed, but then they're fast enough that they can still sneak up on you. Like you turn around, it's like, oh shit, there's two behind me. And you have got to think about what you're doing. You've got to think about your ammo, and about managing that and where you can refill. And it's it just seemed to work really, really well. Like it, I thought the combat was good. It's got that slow motion thing. So when Shane blew the testicles off a zombie, it's slow motion replays it, and it actually cuts my screen off, and it says you are now spectating Shane, and there's this bullet just goes straight through this zombie's knackers, and I'm like, oh, that's brilliant and genius.
From like a mile away. Like it was insane. Like it was great. We were like, what the hell's going on? It was amazing. It was so cool.
But we've never played this. Apparently that's the thing in the Sniper Elite games, isn't it? Which we hadn't played. So that was hilarious.
And it felt very, very arcadey to it as well. Like it felt, forgiving at times. Like you are managing ammo, but there's always like an ammo crate coming up. Like you never get, by the time you run out of ammo and switch over to your secondary, we were already, three-quarter way, through the horde or whatnot. Like we didn't have much more to do. Like it was very forgiving and whatnot. But
yeah, it definitely felt like an arcade game. You're bang on there.
Yeah.
Because it had that drop in, drop out, like co-op. We talk about playing some of these games online, and sometimes it's like you've got to do a tutorial, you've got to set your dude up, you've got 20 minutes of that before you can play online, or all this stuff. And this was just like, your mate's in a party, join his party, you're in, and you just straight into the game. And it did feel like we were next to each other in the arcade, like playing on the machine. Great fun.
Right? Doesn't take itself too seriously. Just good fun, and you're killing Nazi zombies, man. That's the best, man. That's the core of video games for like the past decade.
Yeah, it's combining the two people you want, the two bad guys you want to kill the most, right? Zombies and Nazis.
Exactly.
Nazi zombies. It's like double want to kill these dudes.
Yeah.
Smart.
Unfortunately, after about an hour, I was really starting to get a bit motion sickness, starting to get real dizzy with the way the camera was moving around, some of the running and whatnot. And we had to shut her down way too early after about an hour and a half, and I apologize. I felt awful about having to do that because it was just so much fun, man. Like it's like every stream we do, we're getting more and more people in there, man. The momentum's growing. It's there with such great conversations. Thank you to everybody that shows up. It's fantastic, man. We can't wait to do it again, and we're going to continue. Carl and I have already spoken.
Oh yeah,
we've spoken, offline, and we are going to continue. It is official. We're saying here now.
Spoke offline. Would you dial a phone, or how did you speak offline?
We, Telegram.
Cup and a string.
Cup and a string. Yeah,
It's a
couple of craft beer cans and a string.
Lost on half the audience now.
Yeah, it was. So I had to take a little bit of a break there. Rock a little CBD, which always helps. And that was, and then an hour later, felt a lot better, and it was good. And I started reading up on it, and apparently I need to change the field of view, which helps. And I went in this morning. I fired the game up. Take a look around, and then I started playing with the field of view, and maxing that out looks like it's going to help quite a bit. So got that going. Turned off the motion blur, doing everything I can because I wanted to continue this. We had so much fun.
Yeah, man.
And there's so many great missions ahead. And I noticed there's a DLC pack named Dead Zeppelin.
Oh man,
which maybe we might have to venture in one of these days. But it was so fun. Like you get into those like little like cinematics of a good headshot or cutting shooting the testes, and it's just like every once in a while when that comes up, it makes it all it's so much fun. I was really having so much fun playing this. But I didn't want to just fall over or start throwing it. My aim started going off, and the last little part of the mission we were doing, I'm just running around because I can't hit anybody. I went from shooting the testicles off someone to not even hitting the side of the barn. Yeah, exactly. It just wasn't happening.
Running around like that. Good points in the air.
Did you aim for his testicles, or you just happened to graze them, and then the sort of cutscene thing happened?
Joel, come on, man. Come on. I was obviously aiming for it. I roll, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I was actually getting a lot of headshots, and they're really satisfying to do. And I thought it was a headshot, and then it just ended up no, you're taking the guy's nuts out. I'm like, even better. Just this this glorious glowing sack.
Is that a kill?
2 nuts, 1 bullet.
Is that a kill move? Taking out nutsack?
I guess so.
I think it is in that game,
right?
For sure. I hope so.
John Wayne Bobbitt survived, right?
Right. Romero was wrong the whole time.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Grab that Greta Van Fleet DLC and tell us how it goes.
There's the name of this show right there. I've got yeah, man. I agree with Shane. The stream was buzzing. It was great to see everyone in there have such a good chat. And we've thanks to Justin and Michael talking about the love of Borderlands. I think we might need to stream a bit of Borderlands and scratch that itch for them. It's only right.
Didn't I see something too about a Borderlands director's cut or something? Borderlands 3. Did you guys see this? Some new,
including the DLC, I think.
Is that all? That's all it is? Just
a Game of the Year type pack thing.
So
yeah. It's okay. It's a clever name for Game of the Year. When I saw director's cut, I thought new content, not DLC.
There is a new a second season pass that they're doing, which might be that, and then the first everything bundled in. But yeah,
clever
seems
marketing.
Like something they would do for Borderlands director's cut. So, but yeah, no, enjoying streaming, man. It was nice. So much fun. So, good times.
Done. You're heading right towards that TikTok, man. Keep it up.
We're getting there.
I love it.
Yeah, we can do a TikTok between when you wipe the mirror, and I turn to Shane turns to Joel. I can see it now.
White.
Totally, totally. Jamming out some poser tunes.
Don't be suspicious.
DLC.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you tremendously for being a part of this show. We'll be back at you in 2 weeks. It'll feel like a year, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. Like clockwork. Set your damn watch. Put your timer on. 2 weeks. It's happening. Till then, cheers.
Be safe.
Cheers. Go kill some Nazis. Zombie ones, of course.
Yeah, wear your mask. Pandini. Sorry. I just love that Pandini. I think that's hilarious.
He's fired up today. I love the new Joel.
Yeah. New Joel. Only took 12 years, you know?
Bless him.
12 years of 12 beers. Cheers.
Come on, boys.
That's breakfast.